My sister tried to put our father into a nursing home so she could take his money, but then the judge asked her one question that shut her down. My sister Vanessa hadn't visited Dad in 3 years, not when he had his first stroke, but the second she heard about his savings account, she suddenly cared about his well-being. Dad was 78, still sharp mentally, but needing help with everything physical. I'd been his caregiver since my job went remote, cooking his meals, managing his medications, driving him to appointments, and helping him shower. Vanessa lived 2 hours away in the city, working her finance job, posting vacation photos on social media. She'd call maybe twice a year, always with an excuse about being too busy to visit. Then Dad's bank sent a statement to her address by mistake. Some old mailing lists hadn't been updated. Vanessa saw the balance, $240,000 in savings, plus the house is worth another $350. Suddenly, I started getting texts. We need to talk about Dad's care. This living situation isn't sustainable. Have you looked into facilities? I knew what she really meant. She wanted access to that money, and I was in the way. So there I was, sitting in Dad's kitchen on a Tuesday afternoon, making him lunch. Vanessa showed up unannounced, dressed in her work clothes like she'd taken time out of her important day. She had her husband Craig with her for backup, both of them looking at Dad's house like they were doing an appraisal. Vanessa didn't even say hello to him. She sat down across from me at the kitchen table and opened her laptop like this was a business meeting. I've been doing research, and I think it's time we moved Dad into a memory care facility. There's a nice place called Sunrise Gardens that has availability next month. Dad doesn't have memory problems, I said, slicing his sandwich. He's physically limited, but his mind is fine. Vanessa pulled up a spreadsheet. She'd actually made a spreadsheet. The cost of in-home care is inefficient. A facility provides round-the-clock professional care, and we can sell the house to pay for it. The equity alone would cover 5 years at Sunrise Gardens. We're not selling Dad's house, I said. He loves this house. Mom died in this house. He wants to stay here. Vanessa smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. That's sweet that you think you get a say in this. But as Dad's oldest child, I'm making the decision. Craig and I have already toured Sunrise Gardens. We've scheduled the intake assessment for Friday. You'll need to have him packed and ready. Craig nodded along like a puppet. It's really for the best. You've done a great job, but this is too much for one person. I felt my hands shaking. You can't just decide this without talking to Dad, without talking to me. Vanessa closed her laptop. I've talked to Dad. He's confused and doesn't understand what's best for him anymore. And honestly, you living here rent-free for 2 years looks suspicious. Craig thinks we should have a lawyer review whether you've been taking advantage of an elderly man. That's when Dad spoke up from his recliner. Vanessa, what the hell are you talking about? She jumped, clearly not expecting him to be listening. Daddy, we're just discussing care options. Dad used his walker to stand up, shuffling into the kitchen. I'm not confused, and I'm not going anywhere. Dad looked at me. Show her the papers. I went to Dad's filing cabinet and pulled out a folder. 3 years ago, right after Vanessa missed his birthday because she was in Cancun, Dad had gone to a lawyer. He'd set up a durable power of attorney naming me as his sole decision maker for healthcare and finances. I handed the papers to Vanessa. She read through them, her face going from pink to red to white. This can't be legal. I'm his daughter too. Craig grabbed the papers. We'll contest this. He wasn't in his right mind. Dad laughed. I was perfectly sound 3 years ago, and I'm sound now. I knew exactly what I was doing. Vanessa stood up so fast her chair fell over. You've manipulated him. You've isolated him from family. I've been here every single day, I said. You're welcome to visit anytime. You just never do. She grabbed her purse. We're getting a lawyer. We'll see what a judge says about this. 2 weeks later, we were in family court. Vanessa had hired an attorney, claiming I'd coerced Dad into signing the power of attorney, that he wasn't competent, that I was financially abusing him. Her lawyer painted me as a freeloader taking advantage of an elderly man. The judge listened to Vanessa's attorney for about 15 minutes. Then she asked to see the power of attorney documents. She reviewed them carefully, asked Dad's lawyer some questions about the circumstances of signing. Then the judge looked at Vanessa. Where were you 3 years ago when your father established this power of attorney? Vanessa stammered. I was living my life. I had a job. And in the 3 years since, how many times have you visited your father? Vanessa looked at her lawyer. I don't see how that's relevant. It's extremely relevant, judge said. Your father made a legal decision while competent, witnessed, and notarized, naming your sister as his healthcare proxy and financial power of attorney. You're asking me to overturn that decision. On what grounds? That you've suddenly become interested in his care? Your father doesn't want to move. His doctor says he's well cared for. The power of attorney is valid. Unless you have evidence of actual abuse or neglect, this case is dismissed. Vanessa walked out of that courtroom without looking at either of us.